This is Plant-Based Briefing, the Square Foot Gardening Method, from PlantPureCommunities.org. I'm your host, Marian Erickson, and this is the 10-minute curated content plant-based podcast, where I narrate articles from experts with their permission on topics relating to healthy, compassionate, and sustainable living. Today's post is from PlantPure Communities. They're a nonprofit organization working to build stronger, healthier, and more sustainable communities through research, policy, and program activities. PlantPure Communities was formed following the 2015 documentary PlantPure Nation, which I highly recommend, which concluded with a call to action for people to form local plant-based support groups called pods. PlantPure Communities provides resources to support these local pods, and they also collaborate with other local community organizations to educate people about the health and environmental benefits of a whole food, plant-based diet. One of their collaborations has been with the Squarefoot Gardening Foundation. They encourage gardening, plant-based living, self-sufficiency, and low-impact food production. PlantPure Communities worked with experts like the Squarefoot Gardening Foundation to put together a gardening toolkit on their website. It's for anyone interested in growing their own fruits and vegetables, and they'll learn how to create a square-foot garden, start meaningful gardening initiatives in their community, and support local farmers. The toolkit has free courses and webinars and all kinds of great information. You can find it at plantpurecommunities.org/gardening-toolkit. Today's plant-based briefing is an overview of square-foot gardening. You'd be amazed at what you can yield with a small 4x4 square-foot area. And if you're a visual person like I am, I'd recommend checking out the show notes for links to the original post, where they have videos and other information to really help you understand how to put these square-foot gardens together. Now let's get to today's plant-based briefing. The Square-Foot Gardening Method, from PlantPureCommunities.org. Gardening in your yard, even a rooftop, school, and community can be an educational and rewarding experience. This info sheet introduces the Square-Foot Gardening (SFG) method and the SFG Foundation, and it describes how the SFG method is applicable to individuals, schools, community gardens, senior centers, and more. The Square-Foot Gardening (SFG) method. The Square-Foot Gardening method saves gardeners time, effort, tools, space, and water. It is being used by schools across the nation and by international humanitarian groups around the world, making inroads against poverty and hunger. When compared to single-row gardening, the SFG method is estimated to cost 50% less, use 20% of the space, 10% of the water, 5% of the seeds, and 2% of the work of traditional row gardening. Additional benefits are virtually no weeds, no digging or rototilling, and no heavy tools are necessary. While there are many more details, tips, and applications in the SFG books, the basics are very simple. In addition, the SFG website offers in-depth information about this revolutionary gardening method, including tips on building SFG boxes, making the square-foot gardening soil known as Mel's Mix, which is completely organic, and how to plant using the SFG method. Visit squarefootgardening.org for more information. Here's a brief overview. Anyone can be a successful gardener using the square-foot gardening method. Once a spot is chosen that has good drainage and receives 6 to 8 hours of direct sun per day, there are 3 simple steps. Step 1. Build a box. You can use many materials to build your 4x4 box, such as untreated cedar, pine, or fir. If treating wood, only treat the outside of the box, so there is no direct contact with the soil called Mel's Mix. You can even use brick, cement blocks, vinyl, or recycled plastic to build your box. Step 2. Fill with Square-Foot Gardening Mel's Mix. This tested organic formula is easy to make at home. 1/3 coarse-grade vermiculite, Mel's preferred medium. 1/3 sphagnum peat moss. You can also use coconut coir or replace with straight organic compost. And 1/3 blended organic compost. Mel recommends 5 different composts. Note, these ingredients will be in equal volumes by weight. The following chart will help you to determine how much soil your 6-inch deep square-foot gardening box will hold. Simply multiply the length of your box by the width and then times 0.5. So a 4x4 box times 0.5 equals 8 cubic feet of Mel's Mix. A 4x8 box times 0.5 equals 16 cubic feet. A 4x12 box times 0.5 equals 24 cubic feet. And if you have a 4x16 box times 0.5 equals 32 cubic feet of Mel's mix. Step 3. Add a grid and start planting. Grids can be made inexpensively from Venetian blinds, wood lath, or even natural bamboo stakes. Here's an example of what one 4x4 square foot garden can yield in one spring season. 1 head of cabbage, 1 head of broccoli, 1 head of cauliflower, 4 heads of romaine lettuce, 4 heads of red leaf lettuce, 16 scallions, 5 pounds of sugar peas, 8 bunches of Swiss chard, 9 bunches of spinach, 9 turnips, 16 short carrots, 16 beets, 16 long carrots, and 32 radishes. Start a square foot garden in your pod community and become a certified square foot gardening instructor. Square foot gardening is not a hobby, it's a lifestyle. History and the Square Foot Gardening Foundation. Mel Bartholomew invented square foot gardening in 1976 as a simple alternative to wasteful, labor-intensive, and inefficient row gardening. Mel's first book, Square Foot Gardening, was published in 1981 and became the largest-selling garden book of all time. It was followed by the popular PBS and Discovery Channel television series. Since that time, additional SFG books include the popular Cash from Square Foot Gardening, Square Foot Gardening with Kids, All New Square Foot Gardening Cookbook, Square Foot Gardening Answer Book, Growing Perfect Vegetables, and All New Square Foot Gardening 3rd Edition. Humanitarian projects. Mel Bartholomew founded the Square Foot Gardening Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit, in 1996 to pursue the mission of solving world hunger by teaching people around the globe how to grow nutritious produce with limited resources, expertise, time, and effort. The SFG Foundation has worked with many other humanitarian and aid organizations around the world in an effort to eliminate world hunger by teaching people how to grow their own food no matter their circumstances. Certified instructors have projects in India, Africa, South and Central America, Haiti, the Philippines, and many other third world countries. Schools. SFGF has a program known as A Square Yard in the Schoolyard, specifically designed to teach children in the classroom, whether it is a public, private, or homeschool. This program helps children learn science, math, writing, and art in a hands-on, fun learning environment and uses the SFG Classroom Lesson Plan. For more information, visit their website. Community gardens can make a difference in the health and well-being of local neighborhoods. Creating a community garden with fellow pod members and friends using the square foot gardening method can take place in places of worship, shelters, and senior living facilities and will save precious resources to help fight climate change. You just listened to the Square Foot Gardening Method from PlantPure Communities at plantpurecommunities.org. The Square Foot Gardening Method is super easy and super efficient, and in the show notes I'll link a couple of additional resources that PlantPure Communities recommends, including a short video of Mel Bartholomew explaining his Square Foot Gardening Method and the Square Foot Gardening 3rd Edition book. And this is Plant-Based Briefing, and I'm your host, Marian Erickson. Thanks for listening.